Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18 from the launching pad. And today I'm going to talk to you about the four players that I think best represent the four American major sports, major, at least men's sports. Those of you who run the marathon or do other sports where women compete, basketball included. This is my video. So I think because this is related to card collecting, these are no doubt of all sports. These are the four big ones that sports card collectors uh, follow and collect from. So, with that in mind, what I want to do then is do this video and we're going to call it the Mount Rushmore of the four American major sports. And although hockey is a significant part of hockey is played in Canada, some basketball is played in Canada, and some football, some baseball is played in Canada. There is Canadian football, but it's in the Canadian Football League, and that's a not one that most people collect. Although they do have some cards and some nice ones too. I was watching Mike Canadian Cards today, and he was talking about Warren Moon. Warren Moon initially played in the Canadian Football League, as did Doug Flutie, and many others, I'm sure, but those are just two that I remember. So anyway, let's turn the camera down and look at some cards. So the first card that I'm going to show you is going to be, and by the way, these cards are going to be presented not in the order of what I think is the most popular or who collects what I like the most or anything else. It's going to be presented according to the way that when they're all out here on the table, I think makes the best presentation, the look of it. So the first card I'm going to show you is the rookie card of Jimmy Brown. And, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about Tom Brady or what about this guy or that guy? Hey, for me, this is the guy. He's the guy. He still holds records that it's hard to see how they're going to get broken. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to average 5 yards a carry, for example, for a career. People have, broken his season yardage records, his career yardage records, but at the time that he broke them, he was far and away the best. And I think he would have been the best anyway. I mean, the NFL only played 12 games in his first few seasons, and then 14 games, I think, later. And then before it got to 16, and now it's 17 games. So if somebody gains 1,000 yards, in a season, that's a significant goal. They still talk about that. 1,000-yard rushers. But in Jim Brown's day, it meant you were coming close to averaging 100 yards a game or better for the season. Um, and he set or broke the record several times during his career. So, anyway, enough about Jim Brown and his records and so forth and why I think he's the best. Um, he's the only running back, Sam Huff, who was a great linebacker for the Giants during the mid 50s to mid 60s. He's the only running back that Jim Brown said in the open field, he's the only one I cannot bring down by myself. He was fast. He was big. He played every down of every game, just about all the time. He never sustained a significant injury that kept him out kept him from playing. And he has some of the greatest quotes of all time. Like one of my favorites was when somebody called him out for biting in the huddle or in the pile, and he said, "Hey, what's outside the mask is yours. What's inside the mask is mine." So he freely admitted that he did it, and he wasn't apologetic about it. And that's the way Jim Brown lived his life. He lived it according to his standards, which were mostly good, although there were some events with women in his life that were not so good, and we don't approve of that. All of these guys have had feet of clay, if you'll want to say it that way. Here's the baseball player. I think this guy is the best. A lot of people think it's Willie Mays, and there's some good arguments for Willie Mays. But Babe Ruth reinvented baseball, and he remained at the summit of it in terms of records for many, many years. But people forget that Babe Ruth was a pitcher to start with. He came into the league in 1915, 1916, something like that. Anyway, he played for, I think it was maybe better parts of 5 seasons, or 4 seasons, 4 or 5 seasons, as a pitcher, and he won 96 games. He held until Whitey Ford broke it, the record for most consecutive World Series shutout innings pitched. The guy was sensational. He probably would have been a 300 game winner if he'd have played his whole career as a pitcher. He probably would not have hit 700 home runs, however, and that's what he's most known for. So Babe Ruth is my guy. These are all my guys. Here's the basketball player that I think best represents the sport. He could do things that no other human being on the planet did. And he did them on a regular basis. For his first, 1959, 1960, whenever it was that it was his rookie season, he played the next 5 or 6 years scoring like nobody had ever scored before. Hell, one season he averaged 50 points a game. He scored 100 points in a game. Nobody's done that since, or before or since. He was a monster athlete, just big, Not the tallest guy ever. He was no minute ball in many respects, but he was a great track and field star. He could run. He could jump. He was a high jumper. He high jumped at Kansas. He high jumped in street clothes one time, just to show you he could do it. Just to show he could do it, and he was good at it. Uh, you know, I think maybe he probably could have been anything he wanted. He excelled at again at everything in high school. He went to Overbrook High School in West Philadelphia, not too far from where I went to the first grade. Although he was finished with school by the time I started. My first year in grade school was 1958-59, so he was already you know past Kansas by then. Kansas, where he went to school, he came within uh, three overtimes of winning the national championship, and then he left basketball at Kansas to join the Harlem Globetrotters, where he played for a season. And then he came to the NBA and played there. And he just did things nobody else had done. Bill Russell uh, said, Wilt was the best player. Uh, the sport that, and I said it this way. Uh, Maybe somebody else said it too, but the only thing Bill Russell excelled at that Wilt did not was winning championships and messing with Wilt's head, which I think he tried to do and I think was pretty successful at it. Um, Chamberlain did not have the support that Bill Russell had. I mean, Red Auerbach was a genius, a basketball genius, and he put together teams that, well, what they did was probably will never be done. They won 7 NBA championships in a row. Uh, Bill Russell was part of 11 NBA championship teams. Just phenomenal. So that's Wilt's my guy, and that's the reason why he's my guy. Uh, the hockey player that I picked to be the that I think best exemplified the sport, so much so that his nickname was Mr. Hockey. They also named a special hat trick. Most of you know that a hat trick is when a player scores 3 goals in a game. But a Gordie Howe hat trick was a game in which you scored a goal, had an assist, and got in a fight. So that's a Gordie Howe hat trick. Um, you know, he, Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. played together on the same team. Gordie Howe and 2 of his sons played together on the same team, the Hartford Whalers. Not whaling like in Wailing, but whaling like Whaling, whaling. So you never knew you were going to get a spelling lesson watching a YouTube video. Well, anything can happen on this channel, and sometimes does. Now, I posted this on um, Instagram earlier today, and I also posted, if you don't like these 4 guys, 4 other guys, and they were, and I'm going to try to remember them here. Johnny Unitas in football, Willie Mays in baseball, and I've always said that I think Babe Ruth is the greatest player in the history of baseball. If he isn't, it was Willie Mays. Willie was the ultimate five-tool player. He could do it all, and Griffey Jr. Probably came as close to being that five-tool player as anybody else, but Willie did it first, and he did it in a very thrilling manner. I don't know what Mickey Mantle would have been able to do had he played on healthy legs, but he didn't. He didn't play on healthy legs, and he probably didn't take care of himself as well as he should have. Whether or not he would have been up here in this, I do know that he had a season for all seasons when he won the Triple Crown. Not only did he win the American League Triple Crown, he won the Major League Triple Crown. And it was in dominating fashion. And then he led his team to the World Series. A World Series championship. So, Willie. Basketball, Michael Jordan would be my second choice. And my second choice in hockey, come to nobody's surprise, would be Wayne Gretzky. So that's my alternate team. But you pick your team and let me know about it. Leave me a comment. And if you do leave me a comment, I assure you I will do my best to compile the results, and I'll let you know about that in a future video. I may make this a contest. I hadn't really thought about it, but it'd be something to think about. And if you make a video, that's another way you could do it. But if you do that, then somewhere in the description or the title, put at Rocket Rick J18 in it in one of those places, and so I'll see it. I'll get a notice of it, and then I'll try to do my very best to accumulate all of the entries and give you a breakdown of that at a later date. So not making any commitments to exactly when or how, but that's what I'm going to do. So let me jump back to the camera, the head camera. There it is, and let me say that this is Rocket Rick J18 from the launching pad. That's the inaugural YouTube video featuring the launching pad, and you'll see graphically at some later date in the not too distant future. So there we are there, and wishing that all your collecting dreams come true, and all your YouTube videos, get 500 likes or 1,000 likes, or something along those lines. So, thank you for watching.